That all changed in 2025, when Gerard Butler finally spoke out. About 300. What he said scared me. Someone was taken to the hospital every day. It made $450 million. But things were a mess behind the scenes. Artists were being poked in the eyes with spears. Bones were breaking in everyday scenes. Himself just barely made it through shooting. He didn't say anything about what happened for 18 years. And now he's telling the truth about the most dangerous movie set ever. The 13th of November 1969 saw the birth of Gerard Butler in Paisley, Scotland, moving to Montreal, Canada, with him and his family when he was only 6 months old. The move didn't last long, though. They split up after only 18 months. Margaret, his mother, took him and his brothers back to Scotland. What's hard to believe is that Gerard didn't know if his father was alive or dead for 14 years. It stopped one day when Gerard was 16. When he got home from school, his dad told him to keep his jacket on. There was his dad. She broke down for 5 hours. Gerard didn't cry very often. After that, he could spend the summers in Toronto and even go on a trip to Jamaica with his dad, who he had never met before. Gerard stood out at school. He was smart, liked by many, and driven. He rose to the top of his class at St. Mirren's and St. Margaret's High School and was named head boy. He then went to the University of Glasgow to study law. It was a great law school. He didn't just study while he was there. He also became head of the Law Society, even though he later said he had to talk his way into the job. He was liked, though. He was sure of himself, attractive and full of life. Everyone thought he would do well as a lawyer. That being said, Gerard was hiding a big secret. Even though his friends were reading books, Gerard was singing in a rock band called Speed at Night. He hadn't gone to music school, but he sang from the heart. He played songs by Jimi Hendrix, The Doors, and Eric Clapton. He worked on legal theory during the day. He performed in packed clubs at night to get a rush that reading books couldn't give him. He wasn't aware of it yet, but these late nights were the first signs that he wasn't meant to be a lawyer. It showed up in the performance, the energy, and the raw emotion. Then something happened that made everything different. When he was 27, he was a trainee lawyer at a firm in Edinburgh. He drank too much at the Edinburgh Festival just 1 week before qualifying. He was fired right away by the law firm. Nothing was left of the things he had worked on for years, just 7 days before they were all taken away. That painful moment might have saved his life, though. After the fact, Gerard said he didn't think he would have lived if he had stayed in law. It was dangerous for him to drink now. He drank so much that he forgot what he had done. He admitted that he was going to hurt himself. He stopped drinking altogether after being fired and moved to London, real life. Hit hard when I got to London. He had to work for any company that would hire him. He worked as a waiter and had to deal with rude customers. He did telemarketing for a living. People they didn't know were called and begged to buy things they didn't want. It was the strangest job of all to sell toys on the street. He stood at market stands and showed kids how to play with toys so that their parents would buy them. He was just about making it. He almost became a lawyer, but now works odd jobs to make enough money to eat and sleep. He kept going even though it was hard and made him sad. He felt like he was going nowhere with every job, but it was making him stronger. Then something strange happened. He met someone from the Scottish Youth Theatre that he knew. She was now in charge of casting. They not only got back together, but they also started dating. It was her job to help her out. That meant he was trying out. Trying to get a role as an actor while being an actor himself. It was an odd feeling. He was almost at what he wanted, but not quite. Every day he saw people try out. Some were really great. Some were really bad. From the inside, he saw the whole thing. He thought, that could be me. every time he gave out a script or set up a meeting. In the end, it was him. One day, she took him to an audition for Steven Berkoff's play Coriolanus, which was by Shakespeare. Some say she set it up. Some say that Butler begged Berkoff to let her read in a coffee shop. He gave it his all no matter what. Berkoff chose him right away because he had more energy than anyone else. End up in the ensemble in one version. He got the lead role in the other one. However, they both agree on one point. This event changed his whole life. He went from giving out scripts to being the lead in the play. He was 27 years old. It was his very first movie role. He said it was the happiest moment of his life when he walked home after getting the part. It was like something inside him finally made sense. He got a small part in the movie Mrs. Brown in 1997. It was supposed to be a quiet BBC project, but Miramax bought it and put it out all over the world. It made $13.2 million in the end, and Judi Dench became famous during award season. He only had a small part in the movie, but it got him to the Cannes Film Festival. It was the first time he saw himself in the news around the world. Butler got a small part in Tomorrow Never Died that same year. He was only on screen for a second and had no lines as a crew member, but that second was important. The Bond movie came in at number 4 in 1997 with $339 million in ticket sales. It came out on the same day as Titanic, so it didn't do as well at the box office. Butler did get to see how big budget movies were made, though, because he was on that set. Anything he could get, he took in. Even though no one knew his name yet, Dracula 2000 was his first real lead role. It looked like a big break. There was a $54 million budget, and people had high hopes, but the movie didn't do well. It spent more money than it made and still only made $47 million. That being said, Butler made a mark. His Scottish accent came through even when he was dressed as a vampire. It didn't hurt the role. Instead, it made his Dracula feel different, more real. He got bigger for the role and showed that he could change how he looked. Things that would make him stand out in later action roles. Soon after, he played the lead role in the miniseries Attila. It went on for almost 3 hours, and Butler could show more than just scary or strong things. It was in battle scenes and intense dramas that he played a legendary warrior. Hollywood saw that he could handle bigger parts in this project. When he turned 30, everything changed. He moved to Los Angeles after that. He was born on November 13, 1969. That means he jumped in late 1999. Had no plans, no savings, and no way to get out of it. He had worked in call centers, waited tables, and even showed off toys at fairs in London. He later said that his only goal at first was to become famous, but he got there at the perfect time. The movie business was looking for actors who were strong and dramatic, but didn't look like typical movie stars. Fit the time. He got 4 big roles in the year after moving. He was in the 2000 movie Dracula, Lara Croft, The Phantom of the Opera, The Cradle of Life, Dear Frankie, and Tomb Raider. Someone who had only been in theater a few years before rose quickly. There was no money made from Dracula 2000, but it showed studios that Butler could be in charge of a movie, which was enough for them. It was 2003, and Gerard Butler was filming Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life. There was a moment when something bad could have happened. He was practicing a fight scene while hanging upside down, when he had to use a fake gun. He couldn't change where the gun was pointing, which was a problem. He fired with no plan. One of the bullets almost hit Angelina Jolie in the face. He finally admitted years later that everything could have gone very badly wrong. He said it was crazy. Things can still go wrong on set, even if there are lots of safety rules. That moment made a lot of people think about how dangerous movie sets can be, especially since prop guns have been used in recent tragedies. After a year, did something that no one saw coming. In The Phantom of the Opera, he played the Phantom. It shouldn't have been him. Bigelow Pictures first tried to get Hugh Jackman, but he was already busy with Van Helsing, so director Joel Schumacher looked elsewhere. Butler in Dracula 2000 and some clique Butler did not know how to sing. Having only performed with a rock band before, he worked hard and shocked everyone when he sang the night's music for the first time. Even Andrew Lloyd Webber was impressed. The movie made more than $154 million around the world. The movie was nominated for 3 Oscars, 3 Golden Globes, and a Satellite Award, but critics didn't love it. Rotten Tomatoes only gave it 33%, but over 250,000 regular people didn't agree and gave it 84% on the popcorn meter. Weber later said that the movie was a really great adaptation of the play. He showed a different side of himself that same year. In the Scottish drama Dear Frankie, he had a small but important part that made him cry. He played a stranger who pretended to be the long-lost father of a deaf boy. It was a slow, sad movie that was very different from the roles he had played before. He didn't fight anyone. He didn't scream. He just got along with a kid through soccer stories and books about the sea. The mother was played by Emily Mortimer. People remember the movie, even though it wasn't flashy. Butler's character shows he cared by giving back the money he was paid at the end. His win of the Capri Breakout Actor Award showed that he could do more than just scary or action movies. Over 23,000 people voted for the movie on IMDb, giving it a 7.7 out of 10. It wasn't a surprise when Butler became famous. In 2000, he played 2 important parts that set him on the right track. One was the miniseries Attila, in which he played Attila the Hun. At first, the producers wanted a more well-known person, but Butler kept coming back. He worked hard to get the lead in Dracula 2000. Earlier, he was in a few small but important movies like Tomorrow Never Dies in 1997. And while making a movie about Mrs. Brown, he stopped a boy from drowning. A bravery award from the Royal Humane Society was given to him for that. He was slowly making a name for himself. Fans shared his videos and interviews online by 2005 and talked about him there. Then things began to change. GPT said that Gerard Butler became King Leonidas, not just played the part. But what most people don't know is that the trip was really strange, hard, and life-changing. It only took 60 days to film the whole movie 300 at Montreal's Ice Storm Studios, which no longer exists. It wasn't on real mountains or battlefields. It was just on blue screens. Almost every scene wasn't real. Outside, only one shot was taken, which was of horses crossing a field. Everything else, like skies, walls, blood, and armies, was added afterward. The team chose blue over green because it looked better with the red capes of the Spartans. It may not seem important, but it made a huge difference. More than 1,300 of the movie's 1,023 shots used special effects. Over the course of a year, that added up to 8,731 different V's made by 10 different companies. Some movies are shot in order, but this one wasn't. The actors were alone and there was nothing around them, so it didn't help much. Later, Gerard Butler said he felt completely alone because there was nothing to look at or do. All he could see was another actor in front of him and a blue sea behind him. One reason they brought in Tim Connolly was because of that mental disconnect. He wasn't just a double for a stunt. His dangerous scenes were trained by him, and in the flashback, he played Leonidas's father. It wasn't meant to be a big deal, but it turned into something important. Before he went on camera, Connolly shaped the Spartan warrior behind the scenes. In the story, he was the one who made him. It turned into a strange mix of true events and made-up stories. Butler got hurt while they were filming. He tore a tendon in his arm and got foot drop. which made it even more important for Connolly to help him. Dads in Hollywood rarely act like they are both a guardian and a trainer at the same time. A different part of the movie is missed by many. Leonidas's helmet's plume. The real Spartans all wore plumes, but Zack Snyder did something brave. He only gave Leonidas the black plume. It was simple to see the king when there were a lot of soldiers fighting. You could never take your eyes off of him. It was like that plume was telling the story. It helped you get through the chaos. The fact that the battles were fake also helped with editing. Even though most of the army was digital, the plume gave the team something solid to track and linked each shot. There are still fake helmets with the black plume for sale online today. It's no longer just a prop. It's an important part of movie history. Not just any Hollywood trainer gave Gerard Butler the workout that turned him into King Leonidas. This show was made by mountain climber Mark Twight, who treated the actors like they were getting ready for a mission that could kill them. It took 4 whole months of training. Only 17 of the people who took the final test were able to pass. The preparation took a long time. That was only half of the team. Twight didn't just push them too far. He kept an eye on every move and rep. Nothing was good enough to count. Some actors were so nervous from all the attention that they did worse. There was a mental battle going on too. He wanted the cast to trust each other and for that to show on camera. The last test was very hard and was called the 300 workout. First, do 25 pull-ups, then do 50 deadlifts with 135 pounds. After that, do 50 push-ups, 50 box jumps onto a 2-foot platform, and 50 floor wipers. To finish, do 25 pull-ups and 50 clean and presses with a 36-pound kettlebell. There was no real rest in between. Some people were done in 15 minutes, while others took up to 45. Each round had to be done all at once. That's where the name came from. A total of 300 reps. Most people don't know that this wasn't something that happened every day. It was a one-time test to see who was ready, and everyone passed. That deadlift weight might sound easy, but it's a whole different story after more than 200 reps. A wall that some people couldn't get through. Now comes the crazy part. Most of the time, they never did the same workout twice. Every day, Dwight changed everything. The routines were meant to be random. The actors never got comfortable. The tires were being flipped one day. The next day, they used 50-pound kettlebells to lift until they couldn't go any further. Not a pattern and not a comfort zone. The goal was to keep the body shocked and ready to fight or run away. That's how quickly they changed. Part of it was the mental stress. You can't get ready for something you don't know is coming. Because it was hard to plan, it was one of the most extreme fitness programs Hollywood has ever used. And it had an effect on how people train today for years. Butler said it was the toughest thing he's ever done. He felt really sick after working out. He said it was not only hard, but also very bad. It was just as bad on the mind as it was on the body, but it changed him in some way. He once said that every drop of sweat and every rep would stay in his eyes for a long time. He felt like a lion when he finally put on the Spartan gear. Not an actor playing a part. He was sure of it. It was real that they changed. Some actors were 40 pounds overweight at the start and ended up looking like warriors. Every day they kept track of the scores. It turned into a race. Zack Snyder, the director, joined in too. He worked out every morning at 8:30 before anyone else, just to see how strong he was against the pain. After that, Butler said something in January 2025 that made everyone very angry. For Den of Thieves 2, he told People magazine, "Remember that every day someone was being taken to the hospital. It wasn't a joke." He really meant it. It made more than $450 million, even though it only cost $65 million to make. To get to that point, there was a lot of pain. He told his co-star O'Shea Jackson Jr. in the same interview that the set often felt like a war zone. It didn't show in the polished end product, but the cast paid a high price. When Butler thought about the injuries, he saw them as a list from a war report. Someone got hit in the eye with a spear. During a fight scene, someone else hurt their ankle, and it wasn't a fluke. They took place a lot. He said it was crazy. Even though they were dull, the swords and spears were still made of metal. Someone got hurt when actors missed their marks or moved by a half second. The injury to the eye happened in a normal scene. That shows how dangerous it really was. He said that sometimes he'd turn around and someone was already down. The chaos went back to normal. It didn't bother them anymore. Butler wasn't safe for long either. He made it through 300, but things went wrong on the set of his next movie, Butterfly on a Wheel. Pierce Brosnan was in a car chase scene. The plan was for Brosnan to brake hard on a roof, but he didn't. Instead, he drove a Range Rover into Butler and hit a 3-foot wall. Butler said it hurt his neck, and that was right after he was fined $300. There were already holes in his body. He hurt a tendon in his arm. He hurt his hip flexor. He had nerve damage in one leg, too. Things got worse after the crash. Even now, those injuries still hurt him. It also shows what actors go through when they go from one action role to another right away without any time to rest. Something even stranger is the blood. Not real blood, but fake blood. It looks like 300 used a lot of fake blood, but they only used about 2 gallons. That's it. The blood and guts were mostly digital. The wounds, blood splashes, and sprays were all added on computers after the fact. That is, even though actors were hurt on set, not much fake blood was used during filming. It's kind of funny. The wounds were real, but the blood and guts were not. Butler did not want to be just another action star. The movie 300 made over $456 million at the box office in 2007. After that, he could have played tough guys for the rest of his life. What he did instead was very strange. After only a few months, he was in the romantic drama P.S. I Love You, which made $156 million around the world on a $30 million budget. Lots of people in Hollywood were shocked. That's what most people thought he would do, but he wanted to show that he could do more than just swing a sword. He changed things up a lot. He had already been in shows like The Phantom of the Opera. Then there were racy comedies like The Ugly Truth, which made over $200 million. He kept getting pulled back into the business, though. He came back with the Has Fallen series, which made more than $500 million on its own. Some people thought he never really got away from being an action hero. But Butler got his point across. He was a good leader in almost any style. Watch people all the time. But things did not go as planned. On the set of P.S. I Love You, a funny moment turned into a threat. Had to crawl toward Hilary Swank while dancing in boxers and suspenders. It was meant to be silly. He filmed the scene for 12.5 hours straight. Then, one of the metal clips suddenly broke off. It hit Swank in the forehead and cut her badly. The cut was so deep that the clip's teeth could be seen. She had to go to the hospital right away. The set was cleared in a flash. Butler was left to cry alone while he was still in his underwear. He was scared he hurt his co-star. The $30 million movie was delayed because filming had to stop while Swank got better. Even though that happened, Butler's career took off. His movies have made $3.25 billion around the world. He's ahead of Tom Hardy, Jamie Foxx, and Tobey Maguire in that list. He has made a total of $1.9 billion at the box office in the U.S. alone. The amount goes up to $2.9 billion when you add the international numbers. It's clear that his appeal goes far beyond the United States. He did more than just act. He also became a producer. He helped make several has-been movies and Law-Abiding Citizen, which gave him more power and money. It paid off to follow his gut. Of Thieves made enough money to start a series. The second movie made more than $50 million, even though it only cost $40 million to make. His projects always make money even if critics don't always like them. He got one of his biggest wins out of the blue in animation. Smith did the voice of Stoic the Vast in the 2010 movie How to Train Your Dragon. The movie made him $400 $194.8 million and gave him new fans, kids, and family. He played the part in all 3 movies. Then, in 2025, he joined the live-action version, even though the studio had wanted a more well-known actor at first. He wouldn't be replaced by the director. It was a good choice. He made $519.1 million from the remake, which makes it his most successful movie ever. As Stoic, Butler showed that he could be both mean and kind, especially when he was with his son on screen. Mason Thames did the job. But his life outside of acting has been just as intense. He lost control when he was in his 20s and living in Venice Beach with a group of heavy drinkers. He drank so much that he passed out. Most people think he stopped drinking in 2011, but he quit more than 20 years ago. You might not believe him. It's not true. In 2012, something different took place. He went to the Betty Ford Clinic that year, but not to drink, but to get painkillers. The addiction began in 300 after a bad injury. After a surfing accident in December 2011, it got worse. As Butler filmed Chasing Mavericks, big waves hit him at a famous surf spot in Northern California. He was pulled under the water and hit rocks hard, barely making it out alive. Jet skis pulled him out and rushed him to Stanford Medical Center. He took strong prescription drugs because the pain was so bad. Because things were getting worse, he went to rehab on his own, stayed for 3 weeks and later said he didn't feel bad about it. He might not have lived after that surfing accident, but in 2017 there was another almost death experience. It was even stranger. Butler tried bee venom to treat muscle pain during a long stunt shoot for Geostorm. After being given the poison that is equal to 23 bee stings, 10 times more than normal, it was thought to be safe. His heart was beating fast and his throat shut up. He got really big and shocked. He had to go to the hospital. After 4 days, he tried again with a lower dose and got the same result. He was back in the hospital. Jeff Goldblum told him, "That's crazy." The fire then came. LA County was burned by the Woolsey fire. We had to leave. His Malibu home was gone when he got back on November 11th. It all caught fire. There were only metal pieces and ashes left. He put up a picture of himself standing in the wreckage. Behind him, smoke was still coming up. He just said, "Welcome to my Malibu home." Wow. More than 1,600 buildings were destroyed, and almost 97,000 acres were burned. His house still hadn't been rebuilt after a year. Butler never stopped helping other people, no matter what. He gave an award to the founder of Mary's Meals in 2010. He has been a strong supporter of the charity ever since. He gives more than just money. His trips to Liberia and Haiti have seen him teach and help cook meals. The charity now feeds 2 million kids every school day in 19 countries. He got the Cinema for Peace Honorary Award in Berlin in 2020, along with famous people like George Clooney and Leonardo DiCaprio. His love life has been more difficult, though. Morgan Brown, an interior designer, and he have been seeing each other on and off since 2014. They've broken up twice. Once in 2016 and once in 2020. They got back together in 2022. One time, Butler said he hoped to settle down and start a family by age 50. At 55, he still hasn't asked her to marry him. The 54-year-old Morgan is said to be sick of waiting.